Greetings! Welcome to SmartWatchTicks. It's official. I got word today from IQI that we can finally review the brand new i4. But before we begin, and this is a prototype, mind you, it's a prototype watch, I wanted to run you through the history of IQI. They basically began in the Android market with the i2. That's this one right here, with a charging dock and a recessed place to charge as it connected, a heart rate monitor, a metal back, 4 screws you have to take apart to get in there to change the SIM card, 1 button, microphone, relatively thick, a bezeled, or a notched kind of a bezel with some writing around it, leather bands, and all in all, a good introductory watch. That was the i2. And then they got viewer feedback and released the i3. i3 is kind of their current flagship model right now. And this is a thinner watch, an overall bigger watch. This is the gold one, so it's got the gold highlights in the bezel. It's got really nice tapered design. Speakers on the side underneath that design like a spaceship. Microphone over here. On the bottom, now we've got a cover. It's also metal with 2 screws to get in there to change the SIM card, your heart rate monitor, and your charging connector. It now uses a connector instead of a dock. Or I think you can use a dock on it as well. Okay? Gold button, leather strap with a bit of highlighting. Of course, different colors have different options in that regard. But all in all, another excellent watch. That was the i3. Well, we're bringing up the i4. The i4 is going to be the trailblazer in the 16 gigabyte RAM arena. Now, this watch may be available in the lower configuration like the i3, which would be, what, half a gigabyte of RAM and 8 gigabytes of ROM. But they are professing, and this one is indeed a 1 gigabyte RAM, 16 gigabyte total memory smartwatch. And it's really attractive. This is a kind of a brushed black, solid black watch. They've gone down back to the smooth lines. Now, if you look at the i2, that was very straight, very rigid. Then the i3 went to a very new agey kind of a design with angles, and this one is more of a smooth. And that's on purpose because look at the bezel on this watch. The glass actually curves right to the edge. There is no bezel. We don't have a barrier right here. We don't have something you got to get your finger in to push and slide across on the watch. It rolls right over the edge. Very smooth. If anything, they went for smooth on this watch. And in the prototype anyway, we're looking at bands that are silicone. Okay? Now, this I thought was really nice. Check this out. There's your band, and if you're a really big guy, you put that on, and there's your arm, right? However, it's got holes that go all the way up here. So a really thin-wristed person, a 3-finger person whose wrist is that small, could wear this watch, and it's attractive. It's honed down. The bands go nice and solid around even a small arm. So they've really made this unisex and a multi-ethnic watch that can fit just about anybody's body build. Really sweet. Okay. I think that's all I want to tell you about it before we turn it on, except the limited specs that I've got on this watch for you. It's not yet, at the time of making this video, available, but it is going into the supply chain next week. So get ready, check in the show notes below. When I get buyers lined up, I'm going to press them for coupons or flash sale info or whatever. You probably get a really good price on a pre-sale in the first 10, 20, 50, whatever they put out, and then the price will start to go up. So if you like the IQI i4, if you're looking for this thing in the full 1 gigabyte, 8 gigabyte, well, this one says 512 megabytes, 8 gigabytes, that's the lower version, but it's going to be in a 1 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte version as well. Either version, check it out. Make sure you look at that before you buy. You might say, whoa, I got a cheaper price, but you're getting the lower memory configuration. Well, that's okay. But if you want 16 gig, this is one of only 2 that are out there that have 16 gigabytes. And speaking of that, I also want to let you know that we first did a video on the IQI i4 where we did a comparison between the 2 current 16 gigabyte watches. There's this one and the Limfo LES1. And that video is right here on the SmartWatchTicks YouTube channel. Just Google SmartWatchTicks, all one word, on YouTube if you're not there already, and look for a comparison video between the IQI i4 and the LES1. And you're going to see some stuff in there that will blow your mind about what these 16 gigabyte watches can do. We're going to do the Antutu report. We're going to compare GPS. We're going to check phone call capabilities and data over phone, SIM card. I mean, it just goes on and on. So that's in that video. This is going to be a fresh new look at this watch. So these are all the overall basic specs of the i4. And this, folks, is the watch. Are you ready? Let's go. Tiny vibration, and it blossoms into balloons up in the sky as it starts to do its standard boot up with audio on and the Android logo going through its boot up process. I'm showing you different angles on the watch so you can see how vivid the screen is and easy to read no matter what direction you're looking at it. Okay, coming up to its first opening watch face, there's the wallpaper. If you ever ask about, well, where's the wallpaper show up? It's in that little thing right there. You get to see the wallpaper. And here's the first of several watch faces. We'll look at those in a minute. But first I wanted to just show you the overall layout of the i4 watch. This is home screen. There's a lot of stuff at this level. But if you come down, you're going to get 4 things up here. You're going to get a display showing basically the date, whether you got your SIM card and Bluetooth going, and your power level. It's going to show you this with lots of options like switching into silent mode by touching that, or having it in basically vibrate and volume. This toggles the ability to turn your wrist and show the time. This is airplane mode. This is cellular data. And this is location information that switches on your GPS. This will change the brightness. Now, I've got some special software already installed in this watch. This is way more than just the stock watch because I've been playing with it. And I use a special brightness adjust slider called Display Brightness that you can install on these watches and make it just the way you want. But if you don't have that, you can toggle the brightness low, medium, or high there. You can switch on and off Bluetooth, and you can mess around with Wi-Fi if you want to, turning it on and off, all from that screen. Here shows you your pedometer information in terms of the walking and steps you've done for the day. And one more, the last one, shows you the weather in your current location. And you can update that and look at other screens related to weather. So that's basically the 4 screens you have here. When you come down and you go down one more, you have voice, which is like the OK Google kind of thing that will let you... Oh, I'm sorry if I triggered your phone. I hate to say that loud like that. The command that will let you use your voice to do all sorts of things. It's not like making voice phone calls. You can't do that from this watch. It's not a tethering watch. It uses its own SIM card, remember. But you do have voice active control. Really good when you're on Wi-Fi, pretty good if you've got decent data on your cell plan, and then that's your steps that you can look at as well. And I don't think there's anything left or right of that. Nope, it just takes you back here. So 1 thing down there, 4 things up here, and on this one, to the left, you get your notifications if you have any. There's your watch faces. Here are the whole listings of all of your apps, your stock apps, and any new ones you put in. You have a music player. If you've installed music in 16 gigabytes of space, you can put a lot of your albums in there. And that's it. Whoops, I just modified the brightness again. Something about like that. Okay, so let's first do a very quick look at the watch faces without examining each one, except for this one. I really like this one. This is bizarre. One hand is telling you the time. It's 11:30. Well, it's 11:32, but one hand is going around there, and that little hand there is telling you the 32. So the big hand is like doing your hours, and the little hand is doing your minutes, and when it gets to 12, it jumps over to 0, and it gives you date and time digitally. That's sweet. I like that stock face. Here's another one. Here's another one. Another kind. I'm sure we've done this before on many watches. You don't need to see all these stock faces again. Now, you get to these where they have the little dash, and that comes about because at the very end, there's a plus sign. And when you press that and you're on the web, you can download specialized watch faces that they're providing you. Okay, so you have a really easy novice way of adding additional watch faces. There's a much more complex way involving copying over folders of files onto your watch and making sure they're set up just right. And you can put practically an unlimited number of watch faces on your watch using those procedures. And yes, in our channel, SmartWatchTicks, we have videos that talk about how to put them on your watch, even videos on how to make them yourselves. So come on over and subscribe. In the meantime, all of these that you're seeing are available with that little plus sign that you could select. And if I hit the minus, it actually deletes it from the group, so it's not there anymore. Okay, that's all the white watch faces. And the only thing left we haven't gone into, oh, if you press and touch it, nothing happens. Used to be the old watches, you'd press it, it'd go into the apps, and a lot of people were accidentally launching things because they'd bump into things. You have to slide to the right to get to your apps. You have the stock phone, contacts, and messaging that goes with your SIM card. It doesn't work with your Bluetooth tethering to your phone. However, it will pull in the contacts from your Google login. When you log into your Google account for like the Play Store and such, if you have contacts there, they will get sucked in and show up in your contacts. We'll come back to settings. You have sound, which is a basic sound recorder. And now, oops, I think I have to hit here. Now I'm recording a little sound. It's not showing a needle vibrating or anything moving, so there's no indication that it's actually recording except the word recording. I hit done, I hit save, and I hit the list, and I can play it for you. Now I'm recording a little sound. It's not showing a needle vibrating or anything moving, so there's no indication that it's actually recording except the word recording. To me, it's pretty soft. And sometimes these voice recorders are. But you can, of course, copy that file or export it through Wi-Fi using AirDroid, or put your USB connector that you use to charge in your computer, transfer it over. All those things are available to you if you want. And then you can, of course, amplify it up over there if you need to. Okay. Well, I thought I threw that away. Okay, there, it's deleted. That's the sound recorder. You've got the file manager. This shows your overall available space, 8.75 gigabytes, plus the 4 that I've already used. That's 12 gigabytes out of the 16. So after you subtract for the operating system, firmware, and other little incidentals that came with the phone, with the watch, sorry, you're left with about at least 12 gigabytes of space, which is pretty reasonable. And in here, you can go in and you can create your own folders, like my app backup and restore that I use when I back up all the apps that I put on here. So it's really easy to take some out, put some in. And most of these are standard that come with the watch. Here's all sorts of different apps that I commonly use, and I just keep the APKs in here, and if I want to install one, I just simply tap it. Balto speed reading. It's already in there because it wouldn't just say install. Here it says update it if you want to. So I got a lot of stuff in the watch. Well, cancel out of that. And that's all through File Manager. So one common thing you can do is get all of the apps you want on your computer in a file, throw it in here, and use File Manager to selectively install or uninstall them. Your clock is where you do your basic alarm clocks, and that's all it does. And here you've got another page, I guess. That must be your times with the stopwatches. That's clocks and music. These are, it looks like watch tones or something that are in here. Oh, okay. It's just going to play through them. It's finding sounds from the watch. Oh, you get to hear the speaker now. That's with the volume turned up, telling you which ones it's playing. So I guess it searched the ringtone folder, and it's grabbing, oh no, it's grabbing the ringtones. You got to pause it. Here you could adjust the volume. It's at 15, which is the total highest, and you can lower it, of course. And here, I think you could move back and forth in the song itself. So a robust music player. Our health, yeah, I guess we should go in here. This has got a bunch of stuff. This has got your, where you can do a run or a walk, and it'll know what you're doing and monitor that. And up here, it's got the heart rate. And when you tap that, it starts this little diode, and it, or starts a little thing, and it turns on the diode in the back, and it starts looking for your heart rate. Now, in the other video I mentioned to you, actually, it's in another video. There's a video out now that just before this one, recently, that really looks at the accuracy of these heart rate monitors, whether they're true or not to calibrated baseline monitoring. And you might want to take a look at that if you're interested on how these watches have turned out against the standards for heart rate. Today I am high. I'm fighting the flu and I got medicine in me. So that's probably correct. Actually, it is correct because I have correlated this one with the standards and it correlates very well. It's got a good processor in it. I took my finger off. It stops right away. It's not reading bogus. It's a good heart rate monitor. I'll tell you that. You get that by touching there. And I think that's all we get. Oh, no, you go over here and you can go into settings. You can set your height, weight, and your goal, male and female. And then it'll calculate your calories and probably show you your track against your goal, how well you're doing with your steps. Remote, if we are tethered with a limited tethering app to the phone, and you have it set up, you can remotely use this as a camera trigger. So you could take selfies or group shots, and you just hit OK, and you could take a picture. This is remote control for music. See the plus up there for doing the music. That would play the music on your phone. Is that a little too bright? There we go. Calendar is a very basic calendar. Most of these are. Doesn't show you much, but today. Your gallery is where you would have pictures. These are a lot of pictures that have come from pieces related to the watch faces that are in here. Can you zoom? Not with two fingers. Not with double tapping. I can switch them though, right? Let's see if we find another one. Maybe I just deleted that. I don't know. There's a picture. Yeah, very limited gallery. But that's okay. You can install third-party apps that do everything. Edit pictures, whatever you'd like. That's in the gallery. Chrome is the default Google Chrome browser. Remember, that can use a lot of data if you have it set up to sync and correlate with your phone Chrome and your computer Chrome. All of your open tabs, all of that stuff, it can end up filling a lot of memory in here. Personally, I don't use Chrome. I use a thing called Apis browser. Not the turbo version, but just the basic. It's lean and mean and really works well on a watch. But with all the memory on here, hey, Chrome, why not? Give it a try. Your Google Play Store gets you in. You got to log in, and then you can do all the things related to apps. That's where you download them directly to the watch. Your Play Music, again, will tie to your Google account, and if you've put your music in the cloud in your Google account, you can play it right on your watch from Google Play Music. And Find Me lets you find your phone by hitting start when you're tethered to your phone. And that's about all the tethering that you get. All these other things are the things that I've installed. Display brightness is what puts that little thing right there, that slider that I can make bright or dim. Really good app. I highly recommend that. Reminder, okay, that just got snuck in there. It's not a stock one. It should be. Maybe they know that. Reminder is a part of the stock ones. This is where you can set sedentary reminders, drinking water, eye exercises, take medicine, get a date, you know, things like that. Stuff you really should do in life instead of watch these videos. Maps will get you into Google Maps, and if you're logged into your Google account, you probably have all your identified places of home and work and all that there. Apps now is the display of all the different apps on your device. And you see I've got a lot of them. This is a mechanism for backing them up. It's called App Backup and Restore. And once you put a bunch of apps on here, because you got a lot of memory, it's a cool idea to back them up. Now, you see how I don't have my buttons and things off of the edge? They're out of the way. I can't get to them. If I press and hold, I get to this screen where you can go into power saving mode. You can clear your recent tasks. You can reboot, power off, or you can toggle this. And if I touch that, you see it made it a little square. Now I come out of this, and look, everything is sized to a square. So now I can select that button. Well, they're all backed up, so it's not letting me, but I can select things that I otherwise couldn't. I can get to my menu items up in the corner, and you saw that when it's like this, that's not available. Big improvement on all of these watches. Remember that trick. It's push and hold the power button that you get to it to toggle it. Only works for the third-party apps, not your installed ones, but it works really well. That's App Backup and Restore. These other ones, you've seen in other videos. I'm not going to go into them now. I just want to show you that it is possible to put some really incredible things on your watch and just have a whole bunch of fun with people sailing through the universe. Okay, there we go. Nice stuff just to walk around on your arm and freak people out with. That's having trouble. Wants the full version. I'll just say okay. And a good time to show you this. I'm going to press here, go to recent tasks, and here's all the things I've had open, and I can slide them off one by one. I don't have a way of getting rid of all of them, but it's great to get rid of them and not be too cluttered in your RAM. See, a lot of stuff in there. Okay. Alpine Quest is great for a mapping program. These are all these 3D kind of things, breathing stuff. You'll see the Antutu reports and the AIDA 64, which does show you that this watch has on board this memory down here. Okay. 971 megabytes of the 1 gigabyte available, and total space 12.87 of the 16 gigabytes available. So this is the 1 gigabyte, 16 gigabyte version on this watch. All that stuff, like I say, you'll see in that other video where we compare this with the LES1. Engineering mode MTK that will let you see how good the GPS is, the network and speed tests that let you see how good your speed is on Wi-Fi or on cellular. And the last thing we want to do is come back here and check out all the settings. In the sound setting area, you have the different volume levels you can adjust. For media volume, alarm volume, and ringtone. You can choose your watch ringtone from a huge selection of ringtones. We have videos that show and let you listen to each and every one of those. Whole bunch of tones, too, for your default notification tone. And you can have it vibrate if you want to, in addition to the sound. That's all available to you. For the display, you have a brightness level control here. So if you're not going to use display brightness and you don't want to use those 3 levels, you can come in here and incrementally adjust the brightness to fit what you like. Very similar to the thing I have on the side, but the slider's right here in display. Set the timeout for whatever you want, up to 30 minutes or as little as 15 seconds. Okay. And app adaptation. That's something new I haven't seen before. I'm not even going to guess. All right, I'll guess. It's going to adapt the brightness to match the app, whatever that means. Anybody know? Put it in the notes down below. That's new. Font size has always been there. You can change the size of your default fonts. App list style, matrix around, and that just lets your apps show up in a circle as opposed to a matrix. All right, this is what it looks like. It's thinking about it. There you go. It's got the clock in the middle. And they're all displayed that way. I personally like it in matrix, easier to work with. Your connections let you do Bluetooth, obviously. Turn that on. You got your Bluetooth going. You can go into Wi-Fi. Look, you have Wi-Fi hotspot capability on this watch. So if you have a SIM card in it and you're getting data, you can make this the hotspot to your tablet or whatever you'd like. Has airplane mode, GPS. If you have a SIM card in it, cellular networks lights up. Watch the other video of the comparison of the two and you'll see about that. And you can restrict app background data, basically, so the apps running in the background won't be transmitting over the cellular network and chewing up your data plan. Mobile Assistant. This is what you want to scan to be able to get the tethering app to work together with this watch. Gesture. These are the different things. The screen on raising and pedometer services you can turn on and off. This is set on right now. So if I turn this off and I move it, when it comes on, it will display the time. Every single time I do it by demo, it refuses to work. There, okay? It's a digital time. Now, if you're fast enough to touch it, when it comes up, it'll fade into your stock or whatever watch face you've chosen. But you have to touch it in order to see that. Otherwise, you just see the digital time. Power saving. This is going to show you how much what your watch is using. Watch idle was the most busy thing. That's sort of like me around the house, man idle. Then there's the screen. Those are the two things that are the most power using at this point, but you have that power savings review. Language and inputs let you change your language, and here are all of the languages that are currently in the prototype watch. They may be different when they get to production, but if you are watching this and interested in one of these other languages, those are all the ones that are supported. Okay, we are in English. Your keyboard, you can install secondary keyboards. It comes with the Watch IME, which is kind of limited, and you have voice input and text-to-speech output, which comes from the typical Pico TTS and sounds like this.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
Now, you know how the sound recorder wasn't loud at all when I recorded my voice? But this gives you an idea of what the standard sound comes out of the watch sounding like. That's representative of what a phone call would sound like.
This is an example of speech synthesis in English.
I can hear it fine. Okay, that's all about language and input. Date and time, that's pretty self-explanatory. You have automatic date and time. You can set the time zone. You can take it out of automatic and set your own date and time if you want. You can reset the equipment. And if you're logged into Google, you can back up your data and do a automatic restore thing and all of this other standard Android. Nothing new there. Uninstall the applications that you have installed. And for those of you interested in the apps that I like, I'll just run through the names here. You should be able to find them on the Google Play Store. Some of these are stock apps. Some of them are ones I've installed. And then about the watch. And this is where we get the fun stuff. Developer options, of course, we really don't mess with that anymore. Status, it's an i4 running Android 5.1. The security patch. Here's the baseband and kernel versions, and Wednesday, March 22nd, 2017 is what you're going to want to compare your watch to see if you have newer firmware than that, and it might operate differently than this watch. 2017-03-22, okay? Okay, we are done. Once again, these are the specs, as limited as they are, but you've got the standard 1.4-inch, 400 by 400 pixel screen. The battery, I don't know. That's the concern. It's pretty thin, pretty thick. It's an average watch. It's at least 350 milliamp hours. It'd be great if it was 500. We're just going to have to see how long does it last being a quad-core, 1.3 gigahertz, 16 gigabyte RAM watch with all these engines and motors and radios inside of it. But all in all, if you can handle charging it periodically, get a couple of connectors and have one at work and one at home, I think you're going to be fine. And it really looks attractive on. So let's take a look at it. I like the silicone kind of a band better than the leather personally, but I don't know what it's going to actually ship with, if you'll have choice, or if it's going to be this band, or if it'll be replaced with the leather. But nonetheless, they've come a long way, haven't they? Yeah, they really have. The i2, the i4, oh, sorry, wiggling you, and then the i3. They all serve different markets, and I think they've done a good spread between what they have to offer. Alrighty, you have been watching Smartwatch Ticks. Thank you for your subscription, and we will be back with more great videos soon.